Hello and welcome to the video for Tuesday, October 13th for beginning web design. Hello,
Hi,
how's it going?
Hello.
I'm
Hi,
good.
how you guys doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Enjoying the slightly cooler weather in the morning and at night?
Yeah, that is true. Because usually I don't sleep with my blankets on me because it's so hot. But now I'm like, oh, I kind of need them now.
Yeah, it's a nice feeling when you're in this desert wasteland.
Yeah.
How about you, Alex? How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. The cooler weather, I can feel it coming.
Yeah, it's nice, huh?
Fingers crossed.
hmm
You guys doing anything for Halloween or?
Yeah, I think me and my friends are having a little get together.
Oh yeah?
hmm
You are you concerned at all about the virus?
Yeah, but I mean, it's only like 6 of us or 7 of us,
Okay.
and like one person's house, so we're not going out or anything like that.
Yeah. And do you feel the need to wear masks or not?
I do, when I go out, but I rarely go out.
Okay, I hear you. How about you, Bernadette? Are you mask wearing everywhere you go?
Yeah, I do. Um, Even if like some people don't wear them, like my brother always makes fun of me, why are you wearing your mask? There's not even anyone here. I was like, I don't know. Okay, I just wear it. But yeah, so I try to wear it just to wear it and not to get anyone sick.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, it's a weird reality. Like, you get used to it. You get used to wearing your mask, but the times when it's really weird is when you forget about the mask and you're just going about your life, and all of a sudden you walk into a store and you're like, "Oh my God, I'm supposed to be wearing a mask."
Like
It's
I
like,
do this with my shirt and like walking
yeah,
around.
it's like, oh my God, I forgot we're in an altered reality. That's what's so weird. So anyway, well, how are you guys doing on your websites? Have you made some progress?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So maybe we'll take a look at those and see how you did. So let's see, Bernadette. Let me see if I can bring up yours. PimaCCWeb.com/B2, I think.
I haven't changed the logo color or any of the issues that we were kind of dealing with because I'm still working on it. So just scratch that.
Okay, keep that in mind. Is this the right one?
Yeah.
Okay. So wow, that's pretty cool. I like that. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I think it looks pretty clean.
Now, are you sticking with the same theme that we had last time?
The Astra thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same. I've just tried making tweaks. Like I put hands because Stephanie, when you guys mentioned it doesn't feel like a church from
Yeah.
last. Did
Um,
some.
this feels really good. I wonder, there's a version of your logo that has the actual, Valley Church on it, right?
Yeah, it's at the top there, but because I didn't feel like really changing it right now, so it's very light. But I
Okay.
kind of did redundancy with the other logo.
Because I'm almost thinking that, like, maybe you're thinking about this already, but if this logo at the top was, said Valley Christian Church, then we'd see that right away, and then it would say Valley Christian Church, welcome, or something, like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Or even the opposite, welcome, and then Valley Christian Church underneath it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then when people get here right away, they know where they are at the Valley Christian Church site, and then there's a nice welcome message, and then it makes a little more sense that this can be small because they already know where they are.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so then we've got our links over here and some information down here as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
I made some changes to the homepage and the about page.
Okay, so if I go down to the home page,
That's really it. I still need to put the location and everything.
okay, so so blah 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 at gmail.com is your email address.
Yeah.
Okay, and then these are dates that different sermons are and what happens, right?
Yeah.
And then this is going to be a video of recent sermons, or
I mean, I don't have any videos right now, but in the future, like if they decide to pick me for their web designer, I guess I would. But this is just like a picture of their sermon image, and
okay,
then I'll have a link that says go to sermons page,
okay,
which I can make.
okay, sounds good. Um, and then if we go to the about page here, then you've got a nice logo there, and now there's consistency in the coloring and in the font, right?
Yeah, for this one, I couldn't, again, my issue with all of them, like to make it go across. I tried everything with the width, making it stretch full, and for some reason it's not working like the
Yeah,
other one.
well, I mean, we're getting like something like 99%, right?
Yeah, or 100.
Yeah, it's pretty close, but it's not quite all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's some funky, we'll have to dig into the code to see what it is about that.
Yeah.
And now, but on this one, are you okay with leaving it smaller, or you want this one to be 100% as well?
I mean, I would like it to be 100%, but if it's like that, it doesn't look as bad.
Okay. Let me see something here.
Because I know what we were learning, like the homework that you gave us, the CCC backgrounds, I think it was.
uh,
Like we were talking about like background images, and I was wondering if that was something that I should do for this, like code in uh, specific background.
well, I think we would have to see if we could hack the code that's putting these in. Um, let me see. So you've got full, uh, you've got max width, height, opacity. Huh.
Is advanced free, or for this particular project or whatever?
Is it, say again?
Are we allowed to use advanced, or do we have to pay extra or something?
No, you can use advanced.
Okay.
Um, yeah, we looked at this last time, and I think this is something that's going to take a little investigation because um, it was just, we messed around in here, I remember, and we were working on your front image, but um, we didn't have any success. Uh, yeah. Yeah, none of these are really doing what we want to do. Okay. Well, let's make a note. Let's see if we can, because I'm paying for the premium version of Astra, which means they should answer my emails. Their support people should answer my emails. So maybe we can ask them about this specific theme. So let me see the name of this theme. And I'll write myself a little note about it to write them a question. Okay, so we go under appearance, themes. So this one is called just Astra.
Yeah, it's the top one. For some reason, in the default, like before I do anything to it, it has a picture that's like huge, goes the full width, and then you scroll down and the picture scrolls with it, if that makes sense. I
Yeah.
don't know how to, I should have put my pictures in through that way, but I didn't feel like it.
Okay, so let me make myself a little note here. So I'm gonna say, write to Astra and ask them how to get images full width on Adette's site. Okay. All right. Any other questions you have about that are relative to your website here?
Um, I don't really think I do. I mean, apart from that weird why I can't change the color to white on the menu. You know how we were having issues and we had to shrink my picture down because I couldn't change
Oh,
the
right, because you wanted this to be all the way up and everything.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that's a weirdness, but I think I kind of think it looks okay right now.
All right.
You know what I mean? But I can always add that in to my question. Let's see.
I mean, it's not a big deal. It's fine.
Uh, also, if picture is at top of website, how to get menu items in white. Okay. All right, we'll see what they say about that. Okay. So anything else from you, Bernadette?
I have the about page worked on,
Okay.
and there's more at the bottom. And that's pretty much it.
Well, that looks really good.
Thank
I,
you.
I like your I like the visual theme you're developing with your pictures. This sort of screened back photo and then that text right in the middle. It looks
I
really
hope it
nice.
doesn't. Oh, sorry. I hope it doesn't look too girly again. Like if somebody, like someone, like my pastor does hire me or whatever, I'll change the font if he thinks it's too feminine. But
I don't think it's too feminine. What do you think, Alex?
No, not at all. I think it's very like neutral.
Yeah,
okay,
and very attractive, very stylized and accessible.
cool.
So it's a good choice, and I think your pictures are good. Of course, you know, you would probably I would consider making all the pictures the same size,
Okay.
so that you know this makes a nice little square or something. Or if not that, at least have the two bottom ones be the same size, like the two top ones are.
Yeah, the default the theme kind of had a weird mosaic kind of thing, and the study one was a little bit larger. So, but the picture was that I put in was about the same size of the youth one, so it just kind of happened that way.
Okay, yeah. Well, maybe what you need to do is either, well, you know, my suggestion when I do stuff like this, I take one Photoshop file that's one size, and
Mhm.
I drag all the pictures on there, and so that every file I export is the same size.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they'll all, you know, everything you do will fit in just right.
All
Um,
right.
okay, yeah, it's looking really nice, Bernadette.
Thank you. And that's it.
That's it for now. Okay, unless we want to go hiking or something.
Yeah.
Church and hiking club
That's fine.
and ski club. Yeah, that works for me. Okay, so Alex, can we look at some of yours
Yeah, I'll link it in the chat.
in the chat? Okay, so you're making the website for your travel journey.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to explain it to us a little bit, or
It's basically just a space hotel, like the website for a space hotel concept. And Yeah, I still need to edit some of the images on this template, but I have most of the what I want on it done.
Okay.
I don't, did the rest of the site load on your end?
Uh,
Oh
looks,
yeah, okay.
yeah. Hey, let me take a second real quick to check my email. I mean, I noticed that Stephanie didn't join us, and I want to make sure that she didn't write to me and say like she's trying to get into the class or something. Okay, I don't see any emails from her, so maybe she just didn't make it. Okay, so take a trip to space, our prices, services, affordable space travel, booking made easy, satisfaction guaranteed. Okay, that all looks good. And then H hotels, and here's all your links.
For the logo, I'm thinking of making a more customized one. I kind of just chose a random logo online to put it for placement.
Yeah, it might be cool if that was like had a rocket or something in it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then here you're talking about the company Space Hotel. That's a cool picture. Okay. And then those are some placeholder images.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're going to take the SpaceX rocket up. And then these are the two space beds, huh?
Yeah.
50 gigabytes daily. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
I want the 5 complimentary meals a day. You
The
do
tier 1
5
has
complimentary
3.
meals.
Yeah, that's the tier 3. That one has 5. The tier 1 only has 3.
Now, I noticed that your text dropped down a little in the bubbles here.
Yeah, I need to fix that.
Okay. Yeah, well, the pricing table looks nice. And then now you numbered out all of these because did it come that way, or do you like the idea of the numbers, or?
No, it came with all the numbers. There's still some things that I need to like tweak and remove, like the testimonials. I think I might remove that section.
Yeah,
I don't think it's necessary.
I don't blame you. Okay, and then these are some
And same with that, I might remove that as well. It's kind of just more junk.
more junk. Yeah. Okay. Well, now what theme is this?
Let me check.
Oh, it's called Original.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice theme, don't you think, Bernadette?
Yeah, it looks really nice.
Yeah, I think you picked a good one. Of course, they do load them up with junk, so don't ever feel bad about cutting out those sections, because it,
Uh-huh.
there's no use for it. Okay, and then it's basically a one-page website, and that all these things will go down the page to that section, right?
Yeah, there is a shop link which takes you to like a separate page, but I'm gonna remove that as well because I don't really have anything to sell like for this hotel. But it's just a bunch of random smoothies
It's pretty fun. Well, I think
and healthy hip stuff.
I'm into space smoothies. I think that should be a big part of it.
Uh,
Okay.
I want to add more images too. Like I have for my video that I'm making for the After Effects class, I have images that I'm using in that video of like the interiors and stuff that I want to add to the site.
Okay, so you're like gonna be able to cross use some of the content then.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Well, I think it looks great, and I like your idea. I like where you're headed. I think you have the right idea about what to cut and what to keep.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just say keep moving forward with that. And for your shop, yeah, if you just want to have fun and put in some fun items in there, that's fine with me.
Okay.
But it looks really good. Did you have any
Thanks.
questions or anything?
No.
Okay, very nice.
Greg, I have a question though for his. So I notice like he has the pictures like full width, but whenever you scroll down, like the picture stays static. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what is that called in a website?
So this is called scrolling. This is a
Okay.
picture that will scroll, and then the other type is called fixed. A fixed is when you scroll and the picture stays there.
Okay, because I think that's what Astra had originally. I just took it out. Um, but is there a way in Elementor that you could put it back in, like say if I wanted to put it in there?
Do you mean that top picture on what, your home page or your about page?
Yeah, or yeah.
Um, okay, so right now that's scrolling, right?
Yeah.
There should just, if it allows you to do it, then there would just be a button. So notice I click on the picture here, right?
Yeah.
We can go to style, and then we can go to advanced. Let's see. Oh, check this out.
Hey.
Positioning,
Okay.
full width 100%. Let's see if that makes any difference. Now it still has, it has some kind of, I can see it right here. See this little white down here? Can you see the
Yeah.
white under the picture? That white extends over here. It's got some kind of a border on it or something, which is
Yeah.
what is keeping the edge away from it. Let's take a look. All right. What are you doing? Wow. Sorry, it's never looked like this before. Kind of freaking me out. Let me try again with the web developer tools. Web developer, web console maybe. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Border none, box shadow none. I'm just kind of looking at the code that's attached to this. Yeah, I'm not seeing a border. Let's see. Size is max width 1920. Wow. Because there's clearly something around it. Okay. Yeah, I'll probably have to spend some time just looking at this, trying to figure it out. But
All right.
all right, but let's go back to your original question, which was if we can fix that thing in its place.
I mean, you don't have to do it like for me or just like where it could be.
Um, Order type none, it says. Let's see, responsive attributes. Okay, that's GoPro. Yeah. So what I feel like is, I feel like they've taken some of the features that you really want and they've put them in the paid version.
Oh, okay.
So like some themes that you can open up, it'll say right here, it'll give you the choice to choose between fixed and scroll for the picture. and it, you know, might even give you more options as far as like making this picture wider and stuff like that. But this very basic Astra theme doesn't give you those options. And I think it's because, like I said, they want you to upgrade to the paid version, and then they're gonna maybe give you some more toys to play with.
Okay.
Because there's clearly, I don't know if it's on the, it's probably on the container that's surrounding this, but there's clearly some padding or something right here. And I can see it, and I just have to dig into the code to figure out where it is. Yeah, and as far as that fixed versus scrolling thing, we could fix that by putting some specific code in there that would, you know, make this either fixed or scrolling, but they don't, in this particular theme, they're not giving you that option as just a click thing, you know?
All right.
Okay. All right, so let's go back to the class website here. All right. So what I want to do was talk about some of the stuff that I asked you guys to look at. So let's go back here. So did you guys take a look at this CSS backgrounds information? Okay. So all right, it says the CSS background properties are used to define the background effects for elements. In these chapters, you will learn about the following CSS properties. They talk about background color, background image, repeat, attachment, and position. So the CSS background color will, you know, give you a specific color for a background of an area. Now, you can use the whole thing background dash color, but it will also work if you just simply use the word background. Okay. And so obviously, you know, you change that color to whatever you want, and it does your bidding, right? Okay, and then backgrounds can be set for individual areas as well as whole pages. So right now, there's a style called body that you can put into your style sheet. And anytime you have the word body, that style affects the entire page, right? So if we put in body and then we put background purple, the whole page is going to get purple. However, if we come down here and we say, okay, let's put in a new let's put in a new section here. So I'll call this div, and I'll say class equals new or something like that. And I'll say, well, let's see, it's already got a paragraph in here. So then I'll close my div tag. Now what I did was, all I did was I put a div, I wrapped this paragraph right here. Let me make this light blue again so it's easy to see. Okay, so I took this paragraph, which is wrapped around this text here, and I wrapped a div around it. And a div is short for division. That just means a section. I made a new section. But I also gave it the word class equals new. So I gave it a name. I called this section new. Now, if I go up to my style sheet here, which is anything between these two style tags, if I go ahead and put a dot, and the dot represents class, and then I put the word new, that means here is the style for the new class. And then if I put in my curly braces, and I say, you know, background green, then, oops. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this tabbed over to the same level as that other one. And then I hit run, then you see that the background for the news section is now green, right? Now, that news section isn't very big because it just simply surrounds the content, right? However, I could add more things to it. Like, for example, if I wanted to make that section bigger, I could say, I could add some padding to it. So I could say padding like, let's say 2 EM. And now what you see is it's basically created padding around that whole section so that it creates, you know, what looks like a whole new section that's this color. Now 2 EM is kind of big, so let's try 1, right? That looks a little better. And green, it kind of sucks. So let's try something like gold or something. Okay, that looks better, right? or at least it's a little more readable. Now the blue is too light now, so we want a dark blue, darker blue. Oh, I don't like that blue. I wonder if we can do cobalt. I never know what questions will work in here, or what colors will work in here. Maybe persimmon. I don't even know if I can spell persimmon. Okay, well now's the point when I have to go look up all the HTML blue color names and find a blue that I like. Let's see. Oh, cornflower blue. That one looks pretty good. Okay. Okay, that's a little better. All right. Okay, so now let's go back to, does that make sense? What we did there, the padding?
Yeah.
Okay. Now keep in mind, if I took this and I copied it and I made another one down here and I called this one new 2, you know, I could copy this same code right here, you know, make this new 2, give this a slightly different background, I don't know, maybe white. Okay, so now we have the 2 of them, right? Now, this is just to demonstrate the difference between margin and padding. Padding will put space around an object. In this case, we're putting space around this text content, right? But margin will move 2 objects either closer or further away from each other. So for example, this one new 2, which is on the bottom, if I wanted it to move down away from the padded paragraph on the top, I would simply add some margin to it. So I would say margin dash top, and I could do something like 1 EM. And now it moves 1 M away from that, right? Now you can also do something called negative margins. What if I wanted this white to sort of overlap the yellow? Okay, now remember, if I go back to having no margin, it just is right up against it, right? But if now I put a negative margin, this white should jump up into the yellow, like that. See? So you can, you know, as long as you understand the difference between padding and margin. Once again, I always think of the idea of like a shipping box. You take a box, like a cardboard box, and you're looking at it from above, and you're putting some vases in there to ship. Well, what you do is, if you want plenty of room around the vases to put in padding material, then you take your wads of paper and you stick them around the vases, and you make more room inside the box. That's padding, is basically putting more padding inside the box to increase the area around the content, which is the vases, right? But if you're moving a bunch of boxes, you have a bunch of boxes stacked here and a bunch of boxes next to them, and somebody says, hey, move those boxes apart, you know, so we can get through there. That's margin. You're taking the actual boxes that have the content and you're moving them either further apart or closer together. And that's how margin works. Now, keep in mind that both padding and margin, you can indicate all 4 sides of a box, right? So let's take this one back to, you know, 1 EM away from the other one, right? Okay, now let me put a third one in just so that it's easy to demonstrate this. So I'm going to copy this code, call this one new 3, and copy this code. Because every time you make a style, it has to apply to some HTML content, right? So this one's new 3, and we'll give this one, what color should we name that? Should we give this one, you guys? What's a good color?
What's like a green blue?
Like a nice green blue?
Like a turquoise, or right there, aquamarine.
Aquamarine, okay.
It actually might look ugly, but we'll see.
It's okay. At least it's different, right?
It's the first thing that came to my mind.
It's fine. It's fine. Now, okay. Now let me go ahead. Let's see. Okay. Now, notice the very first one, which is this yellow one, it has padding on it. All 3 of them have padding, but the first one doesn't have any margin on it, right? The second one has margin top, and the third one has margin top, right? Now, let's take this one, the third one, and get rid of the margin top, which, you know, it makes sense. That one slaps up to right after the second one because there's no margin top. Now watch this. New 2, which is right in the middle here, it's got a margin top, but we can also give it a margin bottom. And now it has the effect of pushing the green one away, right? So you have all 4 sides that you can work with: margin right, margin left, margin top, and margin bottom. Now there's a little acronym that will help you remember these things. I'm just going to type it right in here because it's easy. I'll just type it at the top. But if you start at the top, like let's say you have a box here, right, which represents your div, your content, right? So if you start at the top, that's a T, right? You go to the right side, that's an R. You go to the bottom, that's a B. And you go to the left side, that's an L. So you start at the top and you move in a clockwise fashion around. The acronym for that is trouble, TRBL, right? But this is the order in which the 4 sides can be called in code, right? So in other words, we can do margin bottom, we can do margin top, we can do margin right. Let's see what happens if we make those each one EM2. Now you see what happens? We actually pushed this inner one away from the edges 1 EM. It moved in. So in other words, on all 4 sides, it's got its spacing, right? Now, we did that by doing each one of the 4, you know, top right, bottom left, individually as code, right? But we can also compress it all down into one piece of code. Simply say margin 1 EM. And because you're not saying top, left, right, or left, or top, right, bottom, or left, it automatically puts it on all 4 sides. Okay? Now, in addition, if you wanted to make the margin on all 4 sides different, you could put them all inside one strip of code, one line of code, but you'd have to remember this trouble acronym to know which one goes first. So in other words, the first one is going to always be the top. The second number is always going to be the right. So let's put in a 2 for the second. The third number is always going to be the bottom. So let's put in a 4. And then let's put in a 2 again for the, or let's put 5. What the heck? Make it look kind of weird. Okay, so we've got the top should be 1 EM. The right should be 2 EM, so that should come in some. The bottom should be 4 EM, so we should get a big space there. And the left should be 5 EMs, big old space there. See what happens, right? Now the same is true with padding. You can take this padding that we did here and you could do exactly the same thing. Padding top, padding right, padding bottom, padding left. Or you can just say one number, which will go all 4 sides, or you can put in all 4 numbers. So let's steal these same 4 numbers from the margin and let's put them in the padding for the gold section at the top. And now you get this weirdness, right? Where there's some margin there, or some padding there, more padding here, less padding here, even more padding there, right? Now it's kind of hard to tell with this one. This one, it's easier to tell because the margin pushes it away from other things. This one, it just kind of explodes out from the content, right? But it's just important that you know padding is inside the div, margin is outside, and that there's 4 different settings that you have, top, right, bottom, and left. And then you can set them individually if you want, or you can set them all to be the same thing by just putting one number in. Okay, is that making sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so, okay, so we talked about background, and I was using that as an opportunity to talk about backgrounds for the page versus backgrounds different for different sections like divs. Now, of course, they're talking about colors. And they're saying that, you know, you can use color names like red, you can use hexadecimal values like £, and then a combination of 6 letters and numbers, or you can use an RGB value, right? Now, the RGB values really come in handy when you want to use an alpha channel. In other words, when you want to have it be semi-transparent. And I'm sure they'll give us an opportunity to demonstrate that. So let's see. Other elements, you can set the background color for any HTML element. So as you can see, in this, they have an H1 tag, which is, of course, this largest headline. And they've gone ahead and given a background color just for all H1 tags. And here's an H1 tag. So it has that background color. Now, once again, if you wanted that color to extend beyond just the content, all you'd have to do is add some padding. And now you have a little more color, right? Now, padding is nice in that it can come in increments. So you can put something like 0.5, right? And you get a much smaller amount of padding there. Now, the reason we're using ems, of course, are a proportional unit of measurement. You don't want to use pixels because pixels will be different on different devices, on desktops versus mobile, right? So use ems because they're the same everywhere, right? Okay, then we have a div here, a big div, which has a light blue background. Inside of that div, we have a paragraph which has a yellow background. And so you see that you can insert styles, you can nest styles within other styles just by creating style sheets that target those specific things, right? Okay, so let's go back to this page again. Okay, so there's 3 different color examples. Okay, now here's the opacity setting. Now, you can use the alpha channel setting if you're using RGB, but if you're not using RGB, you're using just regular color names or you're using hexadecimal numbers, you can use this opacity setting. So you see right here, this is going to be 100%, this is 0.6%, and this is 0.3%. And so once again, you know, what they do is they have a, first of all, they make a div, which is called div.first. And so they have this div down here and they say class equals first. And so class is always indicated by a dot. Now this is set up a little differently than what I did. What I did on my example was I just put the word dot first, which meant, you know, a class converts to a dot and then first is the name of the style. Now you'll notice something. If I take the div off and I hit run, it still looks the same. So in other words, you can just put the name of the class, or you can also put in the type of element that the class is in or is part of. In this case, it's a div. So you can say div.first and it will find that class, right? Now, so the first one is this right here. And we say the opacity is 0.1. And that's what we have here in opacity. 0.1, of course, the lower the number, the more transparent it is. So if we make the opacity on this 1 as opposed to 0.1 and hit refresh, then it's going to be completely green like this one. 0.3, you know, we'll take it back to 0.01 so we can see the example. Oops. Now what, oh, I'm sorry, 0.01 is too low, 0.1. Okay. So that's very light. The next one is darker and darker, and then finally 100%, right? So you can use opacity to, you know, once again, when you're using either color names or hexadecimal colors to lighten it up and make it semi-transparent. Now, if you're using RGBA, then what you do is you use what's called the alpha channel, and that is the last number in the string. And so your first 3 numbers give you the red, green, blue values, and the last number gives you the alpha. So for example, let me go into Photoshop and just pick a color, and we'll pick the RGB numbers from that. So here, I'll just grab my thing here. I'll get a red. Okay, so 225, 74, and 63. Now, we could always just copy this number down here, which is the hexadecimal number, and that would work. But we want the RGB. So 225, 74, and 63. 225, 74, and 63. 225, 74, and 63. 225, 74 and 63, 225, 74, 63. All right, let's see. All right, so what happened was I set a general, we put a div, a general div up here, and we said that the background for every one of these is going to be this red color, except for it looks like it passed up on these ones in the center here. Okay, so everything is red, but then each one of these has an alpha channel attached to it, which is this last number, right? Now, if I eliminate the alphas on these three down here, and hit run. Oh, look, those are my green ones. Oh, that's weird. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. Style opacity. Let's get rid of this thing. I wanna control this all from my place on high here. Okay, let's see what we got. All right, there we go. Okay, so all I wanted to do was, I'm saying that every div on this page that is not either the first, second, or the third, which are these three green ones, is going to be red. Now, if I go ahead here and I put a comma after those RGB numbers, red, green, and blue, and I put any kind of number in here like 0.5, then it affects the opacity of everything, right? 1 is 100% opacity, 0.5 is 50, 0.75 is 75%, and so on and so forth. 0.25 is 1/4. Okay. Now these other ones, the green ones, the reason they're not changing is because here I'm targeting any div on the page that doesn't have a special name, right? But there's three that have special names. This one right here, the one that says 10%, is special. And the second one is special, and this 60% opacity one are special too. Let me see. Let me go down. Sorry, it's these down here. It's the one that says class equals first, class equals second, and class equals third. Now, if I simply pull the things that make these special off, the unique names, then they just become regular divs and everything gets turned red. So this shows you a couple things. It shows you how you can target everything globally and how you can also individually target things. Like if I go back and do my undo and make sure that one of these divs has its own special name, class equals third, then it is immune to the settings of everything else, right? And so now I can go up there and div background equals third. You can see it has different RGB numbers than this, which is why it's a different color, right? So I can do anything I want with this individually, and it's going to be different from everything else. Let's see. Now let me try one more thing here. Let's see, div third, background, let me try one thing. Okay, good. All right, so I want to show you one other thing. So one of the reasons that the name for this type of styling is called cascading style sheets is because, like a waterfall, these styles cascade down from the top all the way to the bottom. Let me go ahead and close my curtains here a little bit so that I don't get this weird sunlight on my face. Okay. All right, so it's called a cascading style sheet, or a CSS, because like a waterfall, styles can cascade from sort of a general style all the way down to very specific styles, right? But you have the power to go both ways. You can either set a general style that affects everything, or you can set a general style that affects everything except individual things that you want to be exempt from that style, right? Now, in this case, we have a div style that affects everything on this page, right? Every single div, with the exception of the div that has the special name, right? Class equals third. That one gets special dispensation to be different, right? And sometimes you want to do that. Sometimes you want to have a general style that applies to everything, but you want to take one little thing and make it special. Now, at other times, you might come back and say, you know what? That thing's not special anymore. I don't want it to be special. Now, there's two ways you can make it not special. You can do what we did before, which is get rid of the name, right? Or you can take the general style and you can say, guess what? This general style trumps everything else. I don't care if you are div third and you think you're special. If I go up here to my general style and I put in the word important with an exclamation point in front of it, that means it overwrites all the other styles, right? And watch what happens when we hit run, that becomes red. Now, in the style sheet, it clearly says that that div has the name of class third, and clearly up here, div third is green, right? That style exists. But because we put the word important in there, that style becomes more important and a higher level than the other style and overwrites it and says, no, you're going to be red, right? Now, this is a key point to doing style sheets. Sometimes, like Bernadette, your text that wouldn't turn white or whatever, the first thing I would do is go in there and say color white important so that it overrode all the existing styles, right? Now that didn't work. We don't know what the heck's going on with your site, but that's just kind of how it works in general, right? Okay, so all right, let's continue onwards. So let's see, let's hit next. Okay, so now we're talking about background images. Now in here, we have a background image for a page can be set like this. And what you have is you have this, this individual graphic, which is called a paper.gif. And what happens is if you just call it as a background image, it automatically tiles. And what tiling means is it automatically places it right next to each other and then on the next row and the next row and the next row so that it seems like it fills up the whole page. Because this paper.gif is actually very small. That's the image size itself, right? And so what's happening is tiling. It's being repeated over and over again. And it was designed in such a way that it's seamless. One piece can go right next to the other, right? Okay. Now, let's see, it says, this example shows a bad combination of text and background image. The text is hardly readable. Well, that's just a terrible background image in general. If you did that, then you don't deserve to be a web designer. They should take your license away. Okay. Let's see. So thank you for that. That's pretty funny. Okay, now let's see. Some images, it says, by default, the background image property repeats an image both horizontally and vertically. Some images should be repeated only horizontally or vertically, or they will look strange like this. Like, let's see this example. Okay, clearly this is something that you don't want to repeat vertically because when you stack it up, you can see where the gradients are, right? Now it says, if the above image is repeated only horizontally, background repeat X, the background will look better. Let's see. And there it is. And so what they're doing is they're saying that, okay, if you leave it alone, if you just put in a background image, it's going to repeat. But you can tell that background image, hey, I only want you to repeat along the x-axis, which is this way, or I only want you to repeat along the y-axis, which is this way, right? And so for this, we said, go ahead and take this gradient and you can stack it up horizontally next to each other. So if somebody opens their browser, we always see that gradient at the top, but don't repeat it along the y-axis, right? So let's try it ourselves. We go here and we see it repeating. It's repeating along the x-axis. If we open this wider, we still see the purple because it's repeating along the top there. However, if we tell it to repeat along the y-axis, which is repeat y, we get this really horrible look here where it's repeating just like this. And you can see the image is very small. So we would need to repeat it both X and Y in order for it to look even reasonably good. It would have to repeat X so that it would keep spreading out across the page, right? And then it would have to repeat Y. Let's see if we can get it to repeat Y. Okay, so it looks like what's happening is one of them is stopping the other, right? So when I do repeat X first, it ignores that and does the repeat Y. When I do repeat Y first, it ignores that and does the other. Now, keep in mind that if you take it out completely, in other words, if you don't give it any background repeat, it's going to repeat both directions, right? So what they're saying is you either have a choice. You either have it repeat both directions, X and Y, or you have it repeat either X or either Y. That's X, which looks good. This is Y, which looks crappy, right? Okay. Let's go down here. Okay. Now, if you want, you can make it so a background doesn't repeat at all, so that it's just there once. Okay, so now we've got a background, which is this tree with owl in it. Obviously, if we had a bunch of trees, that would look kind of bad. All you have to do is take out the background repeat, no repeat, and we get a bunch of trees, right? But if you tell it, I don't want you to repeat, it only gives you the one image. Okay, now CSS background position. Now CSS background position allows you to tell it, you can still say whether you want an image to repeat or not, right? And that'll give you, either one images or many. But you can also say where on the page you want it to appear. In this case, we're saying right top, right? And so here it is at the top right. We could change it to appear once just at the left top. I'm not sure. I think it'll do center top, but let's see. Yep. So left, right, or center top, left, right, or center bottom. Oh, bottom didn't work at all. That's pretty funny. Okay, looks like it doesn't like the word bottom at all. So, okay. Top is where we're going to put it. Okay, so left top, so top, center, and right, or left, center, and right in the top are the only ones that work. Okay, let's go to the next. All right, now I want to get into this because this is what Bernadette was talking about with her image at the top of her page. We're talking about fixed or scrolling. Now, you can specify that an image would be fixed, right? Now, a fixed image means that that image stays in position when the scroll bar is used, right? So you can see, first of all, we name the background image. Then we say that we want just one by saying background repeat, no repeat. Then we give its position, which is top right. We give it a margin, which means it pushes over from the right 200 pixels. But then we say background attachment fixed, which means despite the scrolling, it will always stay in its position. Now, I can't remember if it's the word scroll or scrolling. Let's see. There we go. If you replace the word fixed with scroll, it will move, right? Now, so Bernadette, all we need to do is find the code for your picture and change the background attachment from scroll to fixed, and then your picture won't move anymore. That picture at the top, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's see what else we got here. Okay. Okay, and then this is the example of what I just showed, scrolling. Okay. All right, now all they're doing here is telling you, it says to shorten the code, it's also possible to specify all the background properties in one single property. This is called a shorthand property, okay? So right now, we've got all of these different things. We've got you know, the background color, we've got where the image is, we've got that it's not repeating, and we've got right top, right? However, you can just say background and then put all of these things one right after the other to indicate all of the properties of the background. So it's gonna have a white background. This is the image. It's not gonna repeat, and it's gonna be at the right top. And sure enough, there it is, right? Now there's no scrolling for this, so we can't really see if it's gonna be fixed or not. Okay, so, and these are the properties. You can set the color. You can decide where the image is, whether it's gonna repeat or not. You know, whether it's gonna be fixed or scrolling, and then what position of the page it's gonna be. All right, so let's test ourselves with some exercises. I'll say set the background color for the page to linen, and the background color for H1 to light blue. Okay, what should I do to set the background color for the page to linen? What code should I type? And where should I type it?
The background for which?
We want the background for the page to be set to a color called linen.
Wouldn't you just do
I haven't done anything. This is where I'm going to type, and it says, so set the background color for the page to linen. So what code would I put in here, and where would I put it?
Wouldn't
can't you?
Oh, sorry.
You could go. You could go ahead.
Go ahead, Bernadette.
If this is right, I don't know. After the first body, or no, wait. I think style.
That's correct. It would be in between the style tags, right?
And you
Okay,
would put like div. No.
You could do dot body.
well, you can just say the word body. You don't have to put a dot in front of it.
Okay.
When you say the word body, it affects the entire page. Okay, now what do we put after body?
The curly brackets.
Right? And now what do we put?
In between, you could put background color or just background.
Okay.
And then linen.
Aren't you supposed to put like 2 little spaces before the background, or is it fine just straight up against the?
Oh, like a tab.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you are supposed to put a tab in there. Now, it will work either way, but the tabs make your code cleaner and easier to read. Okay, does that look right to you guys?
Yeah.
And you're right, it works. Now, wait. Oh, now it gave us an error because we haven't set the H1 yet. See that? All right, now, how do we set the H1 tag, which is this right here, to light blue? Bernadette, maybe you can tell me this one.
I'm cheating. I kind of wrote notes on it.
Do it.
So you're supposed to put like H1.
Where would I put it?
Oh, after the body, right?
Right. So after that whole style, after the curly braces, I would write H1, right?
Yeah. Then
Okay,
you put
then what?
curly bracket.
Right. I usually you do 2 brackets and then hit your space bar a couple times.
And this is for the color, right?
Right. This is what we want to set it to right here.
And then you would do a little tab thing.
Right.
And background color.
Right. Or background color, yeah. And then what?
Yeah. Is it light blue?
Yep.
Light blue.
And then what?
A colon? No, not a colon. I can't think of the word.
A semicolon.
Yeah, semicolon. Yeah.
Right, and that ends the line. So let's check our code. Perfect. Okay, so you got a light blue heading behind the H1 and a linen color behind body. Now, let me tell you, there are certain keywords in HTML and CSS that are reserved words. In CSS, words like body, H1, P for paragraph, those are reserved words. And so you don't need to put a dot in front of them. So you don't need to put dot H1, you don't need to put dot body. CSS knows what those words are. So all you have to do is write the word body, write the word H1, write the letter P, and it knows what you're talking about. The only time you have to use a dot is when you've actually given something a name. like if you make a div and you say class equals new, then you got to put dot new up there so it knows, you know, that it's a class. Okay, let's do the next exercise. Exercise 2. Okay, so Alex, set paper.gif as the background image of this page.
Okay. Wouldn't you just do
I just came
the
to this page and now we have to set paper.gif as the background image for this page.
can't you just do the same thing as the background, but instead of a color?
But what, instead of a color, we put the image?
Yeah.
We can, but there's a certain code that you have to use for an image. It's this right here. You have
Oh,
to
yeah,
say,
yeah.
you have to say URL and then put in the parentheses and then the name of the image inside of quotes like this. Okay, so what we'll do is in the style tag here, we'll go background. We'll put in our curly braces. We'll go up here, we'll hit our tab key, and we'll put in the URL, but then we'll name it paper.gif. Now, do you think that'll work?
Maybe. I was also thinking if you were to put the paper GIF in the HTML code, like as if it was a just inserting an image.
Oh, you could also do it as like, oh, here's what we could do.
Like inserting it in a div.
Let's do the word body here, right? And then here we'll say background. Okay, and so does this make sense? So now we're saying for the body, which is the entire page, we want the background to be this paper.gif image. Does that make sense? Okay, let's check that. Okay, it works. All right, good. All right, next, let's see. Number 3. Okay, Bernadette, set gradient BG vertical ping as the background image of the page and repeat it vertically only. Okay, so first of all, how am I going to set it as the background image? What am I going to type here in my style brackets?
Okay, so he just did that one and I already forgot it and I did not take notes on that one.
Okay, what is the key word that means affect the entire page?
Background,
Nope.
no, body.
Yes.
Yeah.
You put the word body, and that means you want to affect the entire page. Now what do you put?
Then you put background.
You got to put curly braces in.
Oh, okay, curly braces.
Okay, and then you make some space. Okay, now what?
Oh, the tab background.
Right? Perfect.
And then, yeah, and then you put parentheses.
Well, you have to put this. You have to put the word URL, which means that you're linking to the image.
Okay.
Then you have to put the name of the image. In this case, it's gradient BG vertical ping.
Okay.
Now, that should bring the image up as the background, but they're also asking you to do this. Repeat it vertically only.
I really forgot.
Okay, so
Got it.
what is it, Alex?
You would just do the background dash repeat.
Okay, and what would you? How would you have it repeat?
Something Y.
I think it's repeat Y. Repeat dash Y.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's it. Right? So it's just taking whatever this graphic is and just repeating it down the y-axis, which is up and down. Okay, good. All right, we have 2 more exercises. So, all right, Alex, back to you. Specify that the background image should be shown once in the top right corner.
Okay. So we would do the same background image URL, and
Right.
then we would add the background dash repeat.
Nope.
Uh, shown once in the top right corner. Oh,
Look,
no repeat.
if you were doing yoga right now, you might be doing a certain yoga.
Stretch
No.
position.
Yes. Background position. Now, what do they want it to be?
Top right corner.
Right. So what would you say?
Um, I don't know. Top right, top dash
Yeah,
right.
exactly. Top right. Right. Okay. Now it says image should only be shown once. So there's one more piece of code we have to put in there, which is what?
The background repeat or background, yeah.
And then what do we put after that?
None, maybe.
No dash repeat.
Okay,
And there we go.
there we go.
It's hard, isn't it?
It
It's like
is.
it's hard remembering all those weird pieces of code.
It's
Okay.
it's useful when you're using like a an editor, and you would just type in background colon, and then it would give you options.
Yeah, exactly. That's called code hints. And that's why I use like Dreamweaver whenever I'm doing HTML or CSS. Okay, final exercise. Bernadette, use the shorthand background property. Oh, you got a hard one. To set the background image to tree.ping, show it once in the top right corner. Okay, so what do we know is going to be the first thing here?
Body.
Right, then what?
Brackets. They're
Curly
curly.
braces. Okay, now what?
And then tab.
Right?
Would you use background?
Yes, you would. Yes, you would.
Okay.
Now, what I want you to remember is that the shorthand property basically takes all of the other properties and puts them in one line. So in other words, you know how before we had like background repeat, background position. Now what you do is you just put all of that information in one line. So the first thing is they want us to show an image. So do you remember what that looks like?
Yeah. URL.
Perfect.
Parentheses.
Correct.
And you put in the image thing with the quotes around it.
Correct. That's perfect. Okay, so that's going to bring up our image. Now we just make a little space. We want to show it once. I'll give you a clue. This is the same thing Alex, this is the same code Alex just used.
So you put no repeat.
Correct.
Repeat, no repeat, something like that.
Right, and then we want it in the top right corner.
Would you put not margin or any of that stuff?
It's easier than you think.
Right?
That's part of it. What's the other word?
Top.
Yes.
Top right.
Right, let's see if it works. You got it.
Yay.
So see how that easy that is? After you understand what every property does, you can use shorthand and just say it all in one line. Okay. All right, make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. All right, you guys. I think we're gonna have to end a little early today because I have an appointment I have to get to. But you guys did well. Do you feel like you got some understanding of like backgrounds and the code that's associated with them?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, cool. So let's do this. I will put another reading assignment on the class website. We'll do some more CSS reading. And I'd like you guys to continue to work on your websites. Alex, obviously, you're going to take your content from your, After Effects and put it in. And then Bernadette, you're going to continue your work on yours. I'll look into that. I'll look into the issues that surround your site and see what answers I can get. And then we can apply those to your site next chance we get.
I mean, they're technically not like huge issues, but
No,
yeah.
they're not. they're not, but one important thing here is you have to learn where to go to get answers and then how to apply those answers. Now, the obvious solution is to check the forums for, Astra and see if anybody's encountered this. And then if you don't get any satisfaction there, to write to the support. Now, of course, they may or may not get back to you because you're using the free version, or they may get back to you after a while. But when you pay the paid version, you're supposed to have VIP support. So I should be able to write to them and ask both of those questions and get some kind of help. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what you have to learn, is how to get answers and then fix things. So we'll work on that. Okay, you guys. So, all right. Well, have a good week, and check back on the website. I'll put a reading assignment there, and then I'll look forward to seeing your websites next week. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Have a good one, guys.
You too.